Welcome back. Now, search and rescue or recovery operations continue in KZN. The death toll at the moment has risen to 448. Gift of the Givers says as many as 200 may still be missing. And our reporter, senior reporter Dasen Thathiah, is in Durban. In fact, he's taken to the skies to give us a view of how it looks today. Dasen, tell us how it's looking so far. It's been quite a couple of days since search and rescue operations started. Is it looking any better? It looks better to me.
Yeah, Maseko. So we started the morning at Virginia Airport, and that's where all of those search and rescue teams were. You would have seen that there were many members of the SAPS. There were other organizations that have come through from other parts of the country. But as you would know, a big part of these operations is the work of volunteers. And there are a number of them that are involved, and they're assisting where they can. Currently, we are with Reaction Unit SA. This is a private security company. They've also been offering their services. And what we're doing now is, just a short while ago, when we were talking to the director, Prem Balram, who's also the pilot, he was saying to us that he received a call from Chatsworth, and it was a family there that was saying that they were struggling to locate their family members. And he had then volunteered to fly out. That's the flight that we're on now, heading in that direction of Chatsworth, which is in the south of Durban, and to get involved in that search, because you would know that helicopters are crucial during this time. There are about 7 that are at the Virginia Airport that are involved in this kind of work. It's taking these teams to where they need to go. They are performing aerial searches. They're trying to do as many rescues as they can. Also, at this stage, it's recoveries as well that they are busy with. So one of the reports that we've seen so far, just to give you some context before I bring Prem Balram into the conversation to give us more information about this particular case, is that we know that there have been already about 361 rescue efforts. And so far, those teams that are on the ground there, have already saved about 163 lives. This is some of the internal communication that I've been seeing. So certainly the work that they're doing is assisting. What's worrying at this point is that there are still many people that are unaccounted for, and that there are a couple of reasons why that's still a problem. Is because not all of this information has reached these authorities, and at the same time, there are families that have not officially reported these cases to the authorities via a missing persons case, and that poses a bit of a problem. So what I want to do now is I just want to bring in Prem Balram into the conversation. Prem, you did get a report a short while ago to come out to Chatsworth to assist this family. Just give us a bit of background on exactly what went wrong here.
Well, I was informed by the family member of a missing man that he was swept away in the floods during the week. They tried unsuccessfully to recover his body, and they requested the use of the helicopter's body for an aerial search. So we're heading to Welbeduck in Chatsworth to assist in that search.
Just tell me about some of the other searches that you've been involved in over the past few days as one of the volunteers in these missions.
Well, I've been involved in several searches. One that stands out is where 14 people, including children and women, that were washed away in the floods in Nanda, in the Nyati area. 4 bodies were recovered. 10 is still outstanding. We currently were searching the area yesterday and on Sunday for those bodies. No bodies were recovered. The search was called off because of heavy rains and poor visibility.
Prem, you are doing this as a service free of charge for these communities, and I have to ask you this. I'm assuming that your phone is ringing off the hook. How are you managing that?
It's been extremely difficult. The phone has been ringing off the hook. I've been receiving tons of requests to help in searches with the helicopter, with the medical team, and we've been doing our best to answer all calls and attend to everybody. We are giving priority to those that are stranded and alive and at risk of being washed away. So we are putting recovery bodies putting out the helicopter to help recover bodies. Secondly, initially we are trying to rescue people and get them to a higher ground. Some of them are concerned that the rains might return, and wash away their houses.
Okay, lastly, just before, I know we're going to land shortly, just to talk to that family, Prem, but just quickly, what were we looking out for? Just talk to us about how the search is conducted from up here.
Okay, we're looking for an elderly male washed away on Monday this week. His house collapsed after a second house, was washed onto his premises. He has not been seen since. They believe he's under the rubble. They called out the dogs. There was, the sniffer dogs, the Canine uniform of the South African police came out to the scene. They could not locate those bodies. They believe it could be under rubble or could be washed further downstream. I'm now, going to be flying along the stream to try and locate his body.
Thank you, Prem. I'll leave it there with you, Maseko. You would also have picked up from that conversation that I had with our pilot here, Prem Balram, that, especially with his phone ringing off the hook, that's been one of the other concerns, that are there enough people, are there enough boots on the ground, so to speak, to attend to all of these cases. But it seems like slowly but surely they are covering ground. They are waiting on those reports. Right now, I know when we left the teams at Virginia Airport, they were going to a case. Interestingly enough, Maseko, it was one of the first scenes that we attended on that night of those heavy rains. Remember, we were out on the ground that day, and we had just gone out to a collapse where a domestic worker was living in a back room behind the property there, and there was a mudslide, and sadly, she was completely covered and she passed away. Her body is still under that rubble. It's still believed to be there, and teams like the recovery and rescue teams have been working throughout the week to try to free her. We also told that her family will be coming through today. So it's really traumatic scenes and a lot of work to get through, with a lot of pressure on those that are trying to do this kind of work.
Well, Dasen, thank you very much for painting that picture for us and showing us those visuals. We'll check in with senior reporter Dasen Thathiah in about an hour's time to find out if they've been able to actually recover that man whose family in Chatsworth, south of Durban, has called to say that he's missing since Monday. Quite sad to hear what the emergency services are saying. It's no longer a search and rescue operation, really. It's a search and recover operation.